Hello, Willowbrook family. Today's Devo is found in Exodus chapter 13, verses 17 through 22. Have you ever had a big decision coming up and you wondered what direction to go? You might have even said, my life would be a whole lot easier if God would just show me a billboard telling me what to do. Well, the fact is, God has already tried something like that, and it didn't always work. And that's what we're reading about today in Exodus 13. These verses give us some insight into how God leads and also how we tend to follow. Pharaoh had just let the people go from Egypt. They were eventually heading for the promised land, but first, God had some stops planned along the way. God had a very interesting and obvious way that he led them, kind of like a billboard. He led them by a gigantic pillar of cloud during the day and a pillar of fire during the night. It was as obvious as a billboard, but much more useful. The cloud could shield them from the burning sun in the desert, and the fire could illuminate the way so they could travel at night when it's cooler. But here's a few interesting observations about how they followed. You see, God did not take the shortest route out of Egypt. God knew that there were many Egyptian forts along the short and easy way, and eventually he knew that they were not ready to fight the Philistines that were coming up. So he led them the long way around. And you know, sometimes God will lead us the long way because we're just not ready for the quick way. His guidance is always to protect us, and we don't need to run ahead of the Lord. We may never know the pain and disaster that God protected us from by leading us the long way around. Now, let me pause for a moment. As you've watched this video, you may have noticed that I have some cuts on my face, like right between my eyes and on my nose. A few days ago, I had a run-in with a sidewalk, and it won. I'll be fine. But the real victim in all of this was my glasses. I didn't break them, but I have some really deep scratches in the lenses. So when you put them on, it's really annoying. The scratches seem gigantic. There's no way to miss them. And as I wait for a new pair to come in, I noticed that the longer I wear these, the less noticeable the scratches are. I guess my brain filters them out. And that is one of the reasons that God is not always in the billboard business. Do you know how obvious a gigantic pillar of cloud would be? Or how bright a pillar of fire would be? You can't miss them. You would think that if the people ever had a moment of doubt about God, all they had to do was look up and be reminded of God's presence and his holiness and his promise. But you know what? In the coming chapters, we'll read all about the times people forgot about God or questioned God or complained about God or even disobeyed God. It's like the more they see it up there, the less they see it. So, God knows that we are still like that. And that's why he doesn't always use billboards. Instead, he uses his word. And he said, if you seek me, you'll find me when you seek me with all your heart. And sometimes that takes some real effort and time. And that is by design. The time you invest to seek where God is leading you is never wasted time, even if it takes you the long way around. Have a great day in the Lord, Willowbrook.